There are a couple of mistakes that I see home cooks make when making pot roasts that are basically missed opportunities for flavor. In this video, I'm going to show you how to nail pot roasts that will literally make people beg you for the recipe. The first mistake I see people make is not seasoning thoroughly. That is, not seasoning the meat properly and not seasoning other ingredients throughout the entirety of the cooking process. Second is not searing the meat, getting that beautiful maillard, getting that beautiful crust that carries flavor all the way through the entirety of this pot roast, okay? The result of that is going to be bland, boring pot roast that literally nobody's going to be bragging about whatsoever, right? So let's fix that. So the first thing that we're going to do is take a deep dive on exactly how we're going to season that piece of meat. Let's go.
This is a fantastic and precise way to figure out how much salt to put on the piece of beef. You put a plate on the scale, tare it, make sure it's set to grams, and then place on the beef. In this example, this is 915 grams, and you'll multiply that by 1% and you get 9 grams of salt. Place a dish on the scale, tare it, and add your 9 grams of salt. Kosher salt is my preferred choice when seasoning meat. That way it gives the meat a beautiful crust when you go to sear it off. It's delicious. If you don't want to go through the process of weighing out the meat and figuring out how much salt to give it, this will at least give you a good idea of what 1% salt on a piece of beef like this would actually look like, right? It's all visual at the end of the day. Make sure you get all sides of the beef, top, bottom, and sides. This is a fantastic seasoning method. Not too much, not too little, it's just right. Now you want to cover it with some plastic wrap, place it in the refrigerator for 24 hours.
So 24 hours later, this piece of meat has darkened slightly in color, has more of like a ruby red color to it. All that salt has been absorbed in the meat, right? And it's released a little bit of a moisture, which we want to pat dry before we sear it. Dutch oven's been heating up over medium-high heat for about 5 minutes. You want this thing to be blazing hot. Because we're going to put the meat in, we want to get that maillard reaction, we want to get that crust, right? That crust is flavor. Having any kind of moisture on the meat will kill the crust that I'm going for. Tallow, it can handle the heat. Typically when I'm searing meat, I try to match whatever the fat is with the meat, okay? So tallow, beef. Couple tablespoons, okay? You need to get this thing going. Tallow is great because it can handle that high temperature and it's gonna give this dish matching flavor. Grab the meat, carefully place it in. You wanna hear it sizzle. Assertive sizzle. Couple shallots. Two cloves garlic. Sear this for about 4 to 5 minutes per side. That's what you're looking for right there. That crust, that maillard, that flavor. Couple spuds. 10 spuds. Cool. Now, we're going to take the meat out of this Dutch oven, basically. So, move the temperature down to like medium-low. Okay. Oh, dude, come on, man. Look at that. Beauty. Beauty. Flavor. Yes. Shallots in. Layer and flavor. This is what I'm talking about. Properly seasoning. Shallots. Get some salt. Salt draws out moisture, draws out that acidity, makes them sweeter. Let the shallots down until they turn translucent. Takes about 1.5 minutes with this high of a temperature. This is an enameled cast iron Dutch oven, so it's gonna retain its heat. The wooden spoon, gently scraping up the bottom bits on the bottom of the pan. That's flavor. Turn translucent, getting slightly brown. Okay, garlic. Now you want to cook the rawness off the garlic about a minute. Continuously stir so that it doesn't burn. Garlic burns quick, shallots burn quick. Smelling good. Smells pretty proper. Alright, so from here, we have a little bit of fond left on the bottom of that pot. Dutch oven, rather. Add a splash of chicken stock. When I do my pot roast, I do a mixture of beef stock and chicken stock, equal parts. You could do all beef, you could do all chicken. Very basic, very simple strategy that's going to result in a really amazing flavored pot roast. This is how we build flavor. This is how we build structure, depth. This is where we want to add the meat back to the pot, to the Dutch oven. Drippings and all. Right now we need something acidic in this. This is where wine comes in. If you don't want to use wine, you could do some sort of like citrus. You could squeeze a couple oranges in there. You could use a little bit of vinegar. What that does is it's going to break down the proteins in the meat, making it more tender, more flavor, right? This is a really great wine though. It's medium body. It's light red. Goes really well with lean cuts of meat. Pot roast. Great for cooking with. great for drinking. Just a little splash, that's all you need. Add some acidity to this dish, flavor, break down the proteins in the meat. Go in with a little bit more chicken stock. You want to cover the meat with the stock, equal parts beef, chicken, a little bit of red wine, a couple turns on the pepper mill. And I like to save herbs right here. This is fantastic. I love drying out herbs and like a dish, put it on top of my refrigerator for a couple days. And then you just end up with dried herbs just like this. Just toss them in, dude. Don't have to be super like structured about it. Spuds go in. Now I'll crank up the heat to high, bring that liquid up to a boil, cover it, put it in the oven. Cooking's easy. It's all about structure, it's all about technique, it's all about method, and not necessarily the complexity of the ingredients. It's how you work with the ingredients that makes the difference. Bam, 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 boom. Sunday pot roast. Let me show you the light color on this wine. It's really fantastic wine. Great for cooking, great for drinking. It's good for adding to stocks, but you wouldn't want to reduce it too much because it gets kind of bitter if you reduce it too much. But look at that beautiful color on it. It's light red, has a fantastic flavor profile. It's dry. Beaujolais, 100% Gamay. Flavor, a plump wine with notes of strawberry, black cherry, and spice. Pairings, hors d'oeuvres, mild cheeses, poultry, and then lean red meats. Definitely tastes like that strawberry profile that they put on there. It's dry, it's light. It's like a light to medium body wine. It's fantastic. Okay, good shit. A lot of people I see that they'll just load this up with a bunch of vegetables too. I don't tend to do that. I like putting potatoes in this because they soak up that cooking liquid. Potatoes don't really have a very strong, like unique flavor all on their own necessarily. It's more about texture, right? They're buttery, they have a slight sweetness to it. They're, you know, obviously like earthy. But when it comes to doing vegetables, I like to do like the vegetables as a whole different entity on the cooking process. So I'm gonna show you how to do some pan roasting carrots that are freaking phenomenal, dude. As soon as this hits the oven, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that. While this is cooking in the oven, the last like 30 minutes of the cooking time on this, and then you cook the carrots and then you just, boom, carrots on a plate, pot roast, boom, boom, boom. So we're gonna let that rip 300 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2.5 hours. After about an hour, I'm gonna check the tenderness of the meat, see if it's gonna start pulling apart, and then gauge on how much longer we need to go from there. All around, this is probably gonna take about 2.5 to 3 hours. But every piece of cut of meat is different. Every like weight of meat isn't always gonna be the same, so it might take less, might take more time. Poke at it, try to pull it, see if it starts to pull apart, right? See if it needs a little bit more time. How tense is it when you try to pull apart? Does it start to pull apart easily? You're looking for some sort of resistance, but minimal in resistance when you're pulling the meat apart, right? If it's like still rubbery, let it go.
I'm checking this after an hour and a half. Still has too much resistance. It doesn't really want to quite pull apart yet, so we need to keep going about another hour.
For the side veg, we're gonna do pan roasted carrots. So I have these carrots, and then need some sort of citrus. Sometimes I'll do lemon, sometimes I do lime, sometimes I do orange. Today, I'm doing orange. Pan roasted them with a little bit of avocado oil till they start to get a little bit of color. Throw in some butter, throw in a little bit of orange juice, cover it, medium low, let them rip for like 20 minutes like that. Easy.
Next, you want to get a large saute pan on medium-high heat. You want to warm this up for about 1 to 2 minutes. Add a good amount of oil to the pan and then add in your carrots. This pan roasting method uses really high heat at first and then it uses lower heat later on in the process. Top them off with a little bit more oil if needed and then add a good pinch of salt. Cook these for about 2 to 3 minutes until they start to get a nice, beautiful brown color on them. After about a minute, the water on the carrots should evaporate fully and the carrots should start to color. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Nice, beautiful caramelization. Now we want to zest an orange, but do not add the zest quite yet. Toss in 2 tablespoons worth of unsalted butter, melt it in. Once the butter is melted in, add the orange zest and then the juice of the entire orange. Now put a lid on the pan and then reduce the heat to medium low and let this cook for about 20 minutes. After another hour and a half of cook time, this pot roast should be buttery tender.
Taste that broth first, man. It smells so good. That has proper flavor, man. 3 hours, it's worth every freaking second, dude. These carrots are just cooked perfectly. That orange works so good with that just earthiness of the carrot. They're slightly sweet. That orange gives it a nice bright acidity to it. I mean, you just can't beat using just fresh carrots. Easy pan roasted recipe, man. Butter, salt, orange, carrots. That's it. My God, it's so good. We gotta take a couple stabs at it, see how we did. This is proof that it doesn't take a whole lot to make an incredible dish, right? It's just about techniques, dude. So what did we learn today? We learned the proper way to season this, and then we learned that searing the meat is very, very crucial. Seasoning, and then cooking method. It's turned out perfect, man. Meat is incredibly tender. Actually has moisture in it. You know how sometimes with stews the meat is like dry even though it's in liquid, right? This is not like that. Recipe as always is in the description, and then recipe is also on my website, so check it out. Happy cooking, man.